Hey guys, it's Ashley again, and we're going to talk about bidding specific fleet types. In PBS, you're able to either prefer or avoid a specific aircraft.
The Prefer Aircraft property will filter only pairings with at least one segment on the specified aircraft, not necessarily a pure pairing. The Avoid Aircraft property excludes all pairings that operate on the specified aircraft. The property should not be used with specific pairing bids. It will add any pairing that does not operate on the specified aircraft. We will show you an example of this in this section. The list within the property drop-down box is as follows. As you can see, you cannot differentiate a specific configuration of an aircraft. 737 includes both the regular and the MAX, and 320 encompasses all of the narrow-body Airbus. Same with the 330, 777, and 787. Both configurations of the aircraft are included. The list of equipment codes are found in the message board on the PBS dashboard. The FOSS codes will show here on the pairing. Using the generic property Prefer Aircraft will filter only pairings that have at least one flight segment on the specified aircraft. In this example, the flight attendant chose to bid for pairings that have at least one leg on the 737 in Layer 1. Her pairing pool containing 9,151 pairings all have at least one flight segment on the 737. This is an example of a pairing that will be included in her pairing pool. As you can see, the aircraft types are mixed with 77 and B9. 77 denotes a 321L, but the B9 is a flight segment on the 737. When using the Avoid Aircraft with other generic properties, it will exclude any pairing with a flight segment on the specified aircraft. In this example, the flight attendant chose the layover city, Paris, and added that she would like to avoid the Super 80 in her Layer 1. There are 276 pairings in her Layer 1 pairing pool that satisfy those properties. Now here, she bid the same layover city but removed the Avoid Aircraft property from her Layer 1, and her pairing pool did not change. There is no need to use this property with this layover city, for the fact it does not operate on the avoided aircraft. This would only be necessary for pairings that could potentially include the aircraft you would like to avoid. Earlier, when we discussed the property Avoid Aircraft, it is important to know when not to use it as well. Do not use this property with specific pairing IDs. It will add any pairing that does not operate on the avoided aircraft. In this example, the flight attendant has a specific pairing ID W00465 in Layer 1, as well as the property Avoid Aircraft with the preference of the S80. The Layer 1 pairing pool with 19,681 pairings includes a specific pairing ID bid, as well as everything else in the base that does not operate on the S80. Here in this example, the flight attendant only has a specific pairing ID in Layer 1, and this 112 reflects only the desired pairing ID in the pairing pool.
Just to review, the difference between Prefer Aircraft and Avoid Aircraft simply means if I want to prefer a specific fleet type, let's say I prefer the 737, I'm telling PBS I want at least one segment in my pairings to operate on that specific aircraft. Now, if I avoid an aircraft, I tell PBS that I do not want to fly on that specific fleet type. The only time that you will not use Avoid Aircraft is if you're choosing to bid specific pairings in that same layer. What you're then telling PBS is that you want that specific trip and everything else available in the bid package that does not operate on that airplane.